Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War procast this side of East Yorkshire. And today over 2 vs 2 on WAARGH. Over in the Orc corner we've got Rolly McNally and his ally, Holler for the War, also as the Orcs. On the opposing team we have got Inendu Gon Yaya as the Sisters of Battle, and also Blue Man 52 as the Imperial Guard. So the force of the Imperium versus a mighty war smack bang in the middle of the map. Now I do believe that the Imperial Guard have probably got the best place possible on this map. I mean, they've got one narrow choke point here, a narrow choke point here, and a narrow choke point here, so that they're in a prime position for some defensive plays. Orcs will have to probably focus on those guys, at least to prevent them from building up big heavy bolter turrets and barracks and stuff. And they have got one infantry command right smack bang in the middle here, so that will keep the Orcs from pushing too far down into the middle. Do quite like the idea of doing the occasional 2v2. I mean, it's been a while since we've done a 2v2 on this channel, and I do quite like that. It's a bit thematic. It's Orcs versus the Imperium, which is, you know, all good for the immersion. Anyway, Orcs are capturing this strategic point over yonder. Slugger boys are going to come into the Imperial Guard side, so both Orc players focusing on the Imperial Guard play for now. There's some early Cassikins for the Imperial Guard going to move in and focus these guys as close as you like, not getting into close combat, but just getting close enough for it. Tech Priest engines here getting involved as well, going to throw down a face down and try and push these Slugger boys off the Cassikins. Cassikins are quite quick compared to the regular Imperial Guardsmen, so that's a thing to keep in mind. Sisters bringing down some Sisters into the middle. Done some Orc Shooter Boys over here, going to be taking on these Imperial Guardsmen. And to be honest, I think maybe Shooter Boys is probably the play to do, or the play to go for the Orcs. There's going to be lots of ranged combat for them to deal with, and getting Slugger Boys up close and personal is going to be a bit difficult into the mid to late game, so definitely a firm foundation of Shooter Boys is probably what the Orcs will want to get. I imagine Sisters will want to maybe get some Flamers or go straight into some Celestians. Imperial Guards doing their usual grenade launchers. They're going to get their command squad out. Going to go for Telepathica Temple as well, probably to deal with these double big mechs with their shooty lightning bolts and stuff. Shooter Boy is going to try and prevent the Sisters from capturing this critical location in the middle. The critical location is the only location on this map, so to speak, so gotta keep your eye on it, gotta keep it within range, or within control, sorry. Slugger Boys over here going to be a minor nuisance by very slowly cutting through this listing post. We do have some Cassikins over here trying to deny this Orc, the Northern Orc player, from building up a listing post over here. I mean, it's already built there. We're going to try and upgrade it there. Grots are going to try and repair it, but being instantly mashed up by the Imperial Guardsman. Commander going to try and get close and personal for the big mech. He is going to go for Commissar while he's waiting for... Not sure if the... I assume that the Psych has been finished. Well, we'll see in a moment, I'm sure. Big mech going to type these guys as best as possible. Shooter Boys on this side, focusing on the Cassikins. Over on the other side, we do have a Shooter Boy squad and some Ard Boys moving in as well. So, yeah, much more durable than your regular Slugger Boys. Will be good against the Celestians and the Battle Sisters. The Battle Sisters, I do believe, have a ability called the Emperor's Touch, which temporarily allows them to be a counter to heavy infantry. So, have to use that ability on the prime times. There we go. We've got a Psyker coming in for the command squad. Psykers in Dawn of War Pro do provide a ranged defensive buff to anyone nearby, so be an ideal hero to have against this shooter-focused build. Although this Psyker going in a bit bold, going in a bit bareback, nice and close. Double lightning bolts taking down that big mech will push these guys back a little bit, trying to get that war banner built up. Listing poster did not go for its tier 2 upgrade by the looks of things. Full of excitement and backs and forths so far in this game. Sisters now going to go over here trying to push off these Slugger Boys, finally almost taking down this listing post, but unhappy times for the Orcs up north. Do have a sizable force of Shooter Boys. Yeah, it's just pure Daka on the side of the Orcs so far. Let's have a look at the economies. 73 and 10 and 61 and 10 for the Orcs, and 67 and 10 and 37, oh dear, and 10 for the Imperial Guard. So the force of the Imperium definitely on the back foot from the perspective of the Imperial Guard. Lay of hands going down on these missionaries, although they are quite low on health at the moment. Big mech and the Slugger boys, oh sorry, not the Slugger boys, the Ard boys, moving in, going to type these Celestians. Celestians, pound for pound, even more impressive than a Space Marine, believe it or not, in regards to health and damage output, from what I understand. But against this sheer amount of slapping force, they can't quite handle it at the moment. More shooter boys coming in. These guys have now got their big shooters online. These boys are just about to get their big shooters as well. So it's going to be a significant upgrade to the DPS for the shooter boys. These guys are going to have to really focus on taking these guys offline. No grenade launchers as of yet. Command squad losing his Psyker and his priest. I mean, they did have the priest upgrade, surely. That's what happened. We saw it. Unless I'm losing my mind. There's too much action to really remember what's going on at the moment. Caroness does look like she went for a blinding light ability. Big Mech over here dying, making all these guys have a temporary damage reduction, as well as I think it's got a morale regeneration reduction as well when they see a leader fall in combat. Ard Boy has been brought down to low numbers. Does seem that the Sisters and the Imperial Guard have pulled it back. Yeah, getting that Big Mech is quite a big win for them. What's going on the base at the moment? Some more Imperial Guard over here. Going to go for a tactical control. More generators been built up by the Orcs. Ard Boys taking the brunt of the damage. Missionaries almost all the way down. Right, there we go. It's an entire missionary squad wipe. Shooter Boys moving forward. Battle Sisters don't have any of their upgrades at the moment. Battle Sisters in Dawn War Pro don't have access to a heavy bolter, but they do have access to a sister Emigafire, which generally increases their health regen, I do believe. Ard Boys capturing the middle. It might be, to be fair, it might be a game where capturing that critical location in the middle might be the only way to win. If you push too far in one side of the base, or one person's base, you might lose too many in the way of fighting forces, and that opens you up to counter-attack, so maybe that's the way forward. Imperial Guard need to kind of focus on capturing this bit. They are still very low on blue money. Sisters moving forward. They do have their veteran superiors in tow. Another zappy bit from the Psyker. Shooter Boys over here. It looks like they're going to get squad wipe. We'll get one squad wipe on those guys. These guys are just going to focus as heavily as possible on one unit at a time, which is exactly how you want to go about this. Focus your DPS on a specific thing. These Orcs don't quite know where they're going to run. Grenade launchers on these guardsmen. Now online. And the Orcs are going to probably take into something different now, I reckon. These Shooter Boys aren't standing up too well to the overall DPS, or the range DPS that the Imperial Guardsmen and Sisters can bring to bear. I'm going to go for some stick bombs. Got some Ard Boys still on the go. Shooter Boys over here, almost getting squad wipe, but will be pushed back, narrowly surviving. It's now the Sisters, or shall I say, the Force of the Imperium's turn to push into the Orc base's heavy weapons team, which will be a real pain in the backside for the Orcs to deal with. Second heavy weapons team. A slow approach into the Orc bases by the sounds of it. Ard Boys, yeah, I'm reckoning it's probably going to be maybe some Storm Boys or Ard Boys just to mulch their way through the relatively soft infantry of the Sisters and the Guardsmen. I mean, how's the economy looking? We do have a lot of a blue float and a green float, so potential for tier 2. Well, we've got to get some more war banners up yet. Some vehicles would be absolutely ideal in this critical moment in the match. And Orcs over here, yeah, they've got a bit of a green money float as well, so I would reckon either tearing up or maybe some upgrades. Or, I mean, realistically, what can you do against two heavy weapons teams? Well, the Orcs over here, they have been left alone, given time to rebuild their numbers. We'll try and focus down on these Cassicans, although the heavy weapons teams will just absolutely mow their way through every greenskin over here. Centre of the map, covered in red and green viscous fluids. All goes relatively quiet for now. Strategic point being decapped by the Sisters over here. No tier 2 for anyone as of yet. Do have some Cyoculum? I can't read. Again, Latin. Why is everything in Latin in the 41st millennium? War Banner Listing post doesn't look like it's going to have the best of times here. Although there isn't any anti-building people here, so I mean this will buy the greenskins some time. Grots will move over, see if they can repair it. And they are within range of any of the infiltration detection, so they will be happy just to set the back and keep this ship-shape Bristol fashion. Some hard boys having a little bit of a dance, bit of a mosh pit. Don't quite know what these guys are doing. They were giving it the old stanky leg on top of the cliff. Although while these guys have been focusing on that war banner, these sisters over here have been brought down to low numbers. Blinding light goes down. It's not called blinding light, but forgive me, I haven't got my book out at the moment. I can't be asked to get it out. Countess charging in, riding a bit solo. These hard boys, there's some pathing issues going on here. Not sure what these guys are doing, tripping over their own heavy boots by the looks of things. Shooter boys trying to recap this strategic point. And the Orcs seem to have managed to stabilise over here a bit. Only 25 on the pop cap there, so they will need to rebuild that war banner. Listing post over here also not long for this world. It was a tier 2 one as well. Big mech teleporting in, although now within range of the infantry command over here, which we're firing las guns and plasma guns into their ranks. Canoness being brave, although a little bit foolhardy, some would say. She is on her own in this world at the moment. Big mech over here being taken down by the looks of things. Shooter boys losing their morale and low on numbers. 70 and 10. And 54 and 20 for the Orcs, compared to 65 and 30 and 48 and 10. So, economy evening out a little bit. Orcs still have the critical location smack bang in the middle. Heavy weapons teams look like they have been taken down at some point during that engagement. Shooter boys moving over, trying to once again deny the Imperial Guard this listing post. Once the I mean, it's really important that they stop it from being built up, because once it's been built, stick a couple of guard, well, one unit of guardsmen in there, take the Tech Priest engines here to keep it on repair, and it'll be very, very difficult for the Orcs to assail that target. Command squad going to chill out over in the middle here, preventing the hard boys from moving in. We do have the force of the Imperium talking in the middle. It's hard to see white on white, but discussing how on earth they are going to win. Plans to make a penitent engine. Although there is a penitent engine on the cards at the moment, nowhere near by the looks of things. We do have 1, 2, 3 shooter boys from the Red Orcs, which is the limit of shooter boys you can have in an Orc army. Quite a sizable amount too. No big shooters on the middle one. We do have 4 big shooters in total. Trying to focus down this Canoness. Canoness has been repurchased. Say that 10 times fast. Repurchased. Back on the field. These sisters now locked out of going back home. Hard boy Knob alone in this world. Oh, but there we go. Burner bomb. Managing. Very brave. Having faith in the Emperor that they will keep them safe with their bots fire. Do manage to destroy that burner bomb before it goes off. Would have been a really good get for the Orc players if that went off. Never usually kills things outright, but does bring everything roundabouts down to half health. They would have had to have some laying of hands on them, or at least get those Immigafires around. Big Mech just chilling around the back at the moment. Hard boys trying to hold on to their side of the battlefield. A lot of Daka going on. The southern side of the Orcs will almost take down the Celestian squad. With a zappy bit going down on that hard boy, which I do believe that is now an hard boy squad wipe, if I'm not mistaken. Big Mech going to tie up these battle sisters over here. Grenade going off into the shooter boys. We do have... there we go. I think that's the Emperor's Touch ability, if I'm not mistaken. Which does make them do a lot more damage towards heavily armoured characters. And I also think it's just a general DPS buff as well. But again, don't quote me on it. Big Mech in the middle. And realistically, what can the Orcs do? Well, I mean, what can anyone do? Big Mech shop. Yep, that'll probably do it. More shooter boys coming from the Red Orcs down south. No major tech players going from the force of the Imperium. Shooter boys just being pushed back. Their numbers waxing and waning under the constant aggression from the Imperium. Middle critical location has been decapped. And what's going on for economy-wise? Nothing too dramatic. Bit of a green flirt going for the Orcs, but then again, that's what you want if you're going to go for... some Death Dreads. That's exciting. Like Killer Cans, but smaller, I do believe. Yeah, green money over here. Bit of green money over here as well. So, yeah. Ideally, though, what one player can do, because it's a 2v2, is that if one player needs some more resources, they can just transfer them over. By that satellite dish, that tells me that the Imperial Guard have gone for tier 2 at some point. The heavy las cannons going on. Ecclesiarchal Chapel being just slapped right in the middle. Why not? If you can't beat your enemy in combat, just confuse the hell out of them. Death Dread moving down, firing with its little glowy bits. We do have a burner bomb going down, right smack bang in the middle of the Orcs. Oh dear, managing to instantly kill his own big mech and almost wiping out an entire shooter boy squad. That was a questionable tactical play, but who knows? Maybe there's a reason for it. Death Dread, not to be taken lightly. It is a beast in close combat. Walking around like Mr. Krabs. He wants his money. Heavy las cannon though will make quick work of it though. Does not want to stay around for much longer. It is still technically a light vehicle, these Death Dreads. Not quite the heavy weapons that the Killer Cans are. I'm not getting them mixed up. I always get Death Dreads and Killer Cans mixed up. Shooter boys being blown up by some frag grenades. Anything else coming out? We do have some war tracks coming out. Pound for pound, war tracks might be more useful as they can just lay down fire. Notice that they don't come out with their rocket launcher straight away in this version of the game. They come out with their regular old shooty Daka bits. Double heavy las cannons going to whittle their way through this listening post. Shooter boys will have to try and get that down as quickly as possible before it resets and moves smack bang in the middle. Yeah, I'm not sure why the Ecclesiarchal Chapel was popped here, but I suppose maybe you can have a constant supply of missionaries coming out. I do apologise if I sound a bit throaty or if my voice sounds a bit weird. I've recently quit smoking and started vaping now, and my chest is really heaving, so if I sound weird, it's not intentional. I'm not doing a bit. We've got some Emperor nonsense going on down here, keeping everyone alive and thriving, no doubt. Cassicans being temporarily infiltrated for the moment will cap that strategic point. And ever since the last patch on Dawn of War Pro, these guys are able to capture these strategic points a lot quicker than their regular Imperial Guard comrades. Mechanized Command coming online as well. And I'll be honest, boys and girls, I'm not entirely sure who's coming out on top in this. I mean, the Orcs are being... I mean, the Red Orcs especially, I think, are struggling a little bit. Same with the Sisters. But the top Orcs and the Imperial Guard, they're I would say on even footing at the moment. I would say, although this heavy las cannon team is going to cause real problems for these war trucks if they don't take out anytime soon. It is quite low on health at the moment though. These war trucks are going to dominate the battlefield just a little bit for now, while there's no massive anti-vehicle weaponry online for them. Cannon nest does fall, whacking out the morale for the Sisters for a brief moment in time, at the very least. Imperial Guard pushing into the Red Orcs base. Top Orcs will have to come in and provide some sort of defensive assistance. Ecclesiarchal Chapel providing a building aura for the Inferno, so maybe that is the reason why Ecclesiarchal Chapel was popped there in the first place. Heavy las cannon team feeling the weight. Sentinels out on the field, equipped with a las cannon by the looks of things. Is it a las cannon? Or is it an auto cannon that starts off with? Let's have a look. Yeah, yeah, in Dawn of War it starts off with a auto cannon. And the Southern Orcs are struggling somewhat. These Orcs over here pushing into the sister's base. Kind of giving up on his ally at the moment. But then again, if one faction of orcs can't handle it themselves, then are they even real orcs? That is probably the way that the northern orcs are thinking about this. And also, it's just a general north-south divide, isn't it? Northern boys can't help southern boys. And it's just typical that the southern boys are the first ones to die, you know. Life imitates art, or art imitates life, or something like that. That's how it works in Yorkshire, anyway. Heavy Lascan just 360 no-scoping that war track over there. Will be taken down by these shooter boys, though. Shooter boys have been upgraded with some rocket launchers. Expecting some more sentinels and whatnot coming out, but not quite going to get close to them. War truck over here being pushed back. Knob squad out on the field. And it's not over till the fat lady sings. I mean, we have seen it in the past where some people have won in a 1v2 before. That was a crazy Ultimate Apocalypse tournament. No one saw that coming. If you are interested in Ultimate Apocalypse tournaments, down here there's the... Oh, sorry, a bit of flashing. Sorry if any of you got epilepsy or anything, but down here there's a advertisement for the Ultimate Apocalypse tournament that will be beginning this Sunday. 3 weeks of a group stage and then 1 week of a knockout style tournament. Don't want to miss that. Big mech standing up firm and proud against these sentinels. The sentinel just going to go for a flamer, breaking the morale of these guys. They are going to teleport away. Settlement being placed down here. There's some more war tracks being built up. Missionary squad over here healing themselves. Orc player being left alone. Donating how much Blumen received 0 power from you. Oh, I assume we'll have received. Yeah. So sisters are giving loads of money to the Imperial Guard. And look at that green money there. They'll be able to invest in some serious vehicle nonsense when the time is right. Orcs. Bit like the fall of Stalingrad, or the siege of Stalingrad. Stalingrad never fell, I suppose. Some Valkyrie drive-bys. Firing in. Orcs manages to jump into the pile of guns there. Settlement being taken down. And it does look like the end. I am going to, against my better judgment, fast forward it just a little bit. Just to see if anything crazy happens, any big units come out. We always like to see those. Although, mind you, Orcs managing to push them out a little bit. It's not all said and done so far. Orcs down here, though, managing to save up enough money to get 1 squad of shooter boys out. Psyker blasting these shooter boys about down the southern side. Cassicans standing by the ecclesiastical chapel, potentially praying for good fortune and faith in the battle to come. A second Inferno turret being built up. And it's all a matter of who can get the big mega push. We have a field command going down the middle. It's SimCity in the centre of the map at the moment. Might even be a case where if they can't make a sizable push, like I said at the beginning of the game, they can't help themselves going into the centre of any orc settlements and bases. May as well just capture the centrepiece and then just chill. They have got a fair few Inferno turrets. The orcs don't quite have the pushing power, so it might just be a case of waiting for that countdown to happen. Cassicans not allowing these shooter boys to get any kind of damage being done. Big zappy going onto the big mech from the Psycho over here. Secondary zap going as well. Why is that once when he can zap twice?
It will be my honor. I already know what you want.
Shooter boys now massing in strength. Going to try and deny the Imperial Guard this listening post. What's the economic situation of the Orcs at the moment? 63 and 27, 34 and 0 against 76 and 17, 104 and 38. Yeah, this is... It's a brave stand.
I will do as you ask.
Forces of the Imperium turning their attention to the southern side once more. Probably going to deal a killing blow. The Orcs do have 1 minute and 15 seconds left to pull something out the bag. And does seem like that the southern Orc player has surrendered.
The hand of the Emperor
Left the settlement, but that'll self-destruct at some point in the near future. And the Northern Orc has given up as well. So I'm going to call it there. The forces of the Imperium have taken it today. So yeah, that was quite exciting. Just out of curiosity, obviously this is a 2v2, and I don't normally do 2v2s because they're quite confusing for me, and there's too much action to capture all that's going on. But I'm thinking, if there was like 2v2s where both of them were the same race, and 2v2, say for example, 2 Imperial Guard versus 2 Orcs, 2 Space Marines versus 2 Chaos, I reckon that might be a shout. So if any of you guys know of any games that have been played recently, or you have any recordings where it is kind of like Ingrid's Faction Wars, if you're familiar with them. But I'd be very interested to see if anyone's got any games like that, because I'd love to do some games, whether it's Vanilla, Pro, Ultimate Apocalypse, Unification, all that jazz. But anyway, mine has been Mr. Landshark. Please always, never char, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace.